What do I think about him leaving? All right, Juanita. So this is what I said. I don't have an issue with Cash Cleveland leaving. The issue that I have is if he didn't say anything about it and just decided to do it because maybe he was upset that either somebody else got a scholarship or he was upset that he didn't get the opportunity. Somebody else is getting, the starting snaps. In other words, okay, so he came on like gangbusters. He came with CU to Jordan Seaton. He got the opportunity to start. He made a name for himself. We all love Cash Cleveland. And I do. I wish him well to wherever it is that he's going. But it does seem to be that there was a team meeting and Coach Prime called out a few players in the meeting and he mentioned Cash Cleveland. Now, when they went to practice, Cash wasn't at practice. So it looks like immediately after that meeting that he left. He announced that he was entering the portal. He is in the portal. He's listed as a 3-star. It's nothing wrong with leaving. There wasn't anything wrong with Nico leaving Tennessee. So there's nothing wrong with Cash Cleveland leaving Colorado. It's how you go about it. I think in Cash Cleveland's case, getting a huge opportunity as a freshman to start, I think going to Coach Prime and saying, hey, Coach Prime, I'm going to go ahead and hire an NIL agent, and I think I'm going to move on. I think that would have been better because remember, football is a business. That's what I was saying on mute. Football is a business. The students get it, but now they have to conduct themselves like it's business. You want to be paid, so, you have to conduct yourself in a certain way. So Cash Cleveland leaving CU is not a negative. Is it a surprise? Yes. But I pointed out again when I was on mute, CU is recruiting 4-star players out of the portal. Sincere Brown was a 4-star receiver. We lost a 3-star receiver. We gained a 4-star receiver. I think a young man on the O-line got a scholarship. It said that is the reason for the contentiousness. That's the reason for the contentiousness, I guess, with Cash Cleveland. He didn't get the scholarship. Either that's true or that's just what people are saying. All I know is it does seem to be true that he hired an NIL agent and Coach Prime knew about it. But it seems that Cash didn't say nothing. So when Cash got called out, it seems that he left. But we like Cash. But if he want to leave, he want to leave. Now, Jordan Seaton didn't seem to be too happy. Jordan Seaton seemed to feel like, things are changing so fast, you don't even have time to form a brotherhood because everybody's worried about I and we. And that brought me to my next point, that this is a business. As fans, we should not get attached emotionally to these players. There are 1,000 players in the portal in college football. So this is not just happening at CU. Nico wanting to leave was not an abnormality because you see it's happening at CU. The difference between the two, Coach Prime didn't put out anything negative about a parting of the ways with Cash Cleveland to make it look like there was some type of situation or impropriety on Cash's part, like what Tennessee did with Nico. This is now everyday business. When the portal opens, there are going to be players that hop in it. What's happening that is against the rules is the poaching of students from CU. The poaching of students from CU and anywhere else is wrong. We talked about it yesterday. Coach Prime couldn't do it. If he did it, y'all know we would all hear about it. Have y'all heard anything about the NCAA coming out and talking about Virginia poaching from CU? No. There's a lot happening here. The NCAA don't even want players to be paid at all. So they're not going to step in and try to make the whole thing make sense. People saying there's no rules. There are rules. Tampering is against the rule. Now it's reported Dan Lanning went to Tennessee and told Tennessee that his QB was being shopped around, and that's when everything started ganging up on Nico. But see, here's the thing. Coach Prime found out that Cash Cleveland is being shopped around. Did you hear CU put out any statements about any possible issue and separating and parting of the ways? No, because that's not right. Georgia did not put out any statements about Carson Beck leaving, even though there was tension there. We don't know if there was tension or not at CU. Coach Prime didn't say anything, nor should he, because players have the right to enter the portal. When you put out a statement such as what Tennessee put out about Nico, you know what you're doing? You're trying to make it hard for him to get to his next spot. That itself ought to be looked into. That itself is defamatory. You are meddling with his next move because you in your feelings because he wanted to leave your school. There are 1,000 students in the portal. You know how many schools could be in their feelings, but they didn't say anything because a quiet parting of the ways is the way it goes? There's no reason to be upset about it because the students have the right to enter the portal. So I don't have a problem with Cash Cleveland leaving. I'm shocked that he's leaving, but I'm not out there at practice every day watching, is somebody better than him? Did somebody else deserve the scholarship? Maybe when he finds his next spot, he might find a landing place, but that don't mean he gonna start. That's what I was talking about. Players are being paid $500,000 poached from CU. Okay, if that is your ceiling, then I see why you took the money and hopped in the portal. But players like Carter Stoudemire, who have draft stock, his ceiling is not $500,000, and that's why he chose to stay at CU. Some say stay loyal. He also stayed true to himself because everybody knows CU has the brightest lights. CU has the brightest lights. That is known. I looked at the schedule for the spring game. CU is one of the very few teams who are playing on ESPN or game is televised on any national network. UCLA playing tonight. I wanted to watch that game. I'm probably going to watch the replay. I don't know how I'm going to find it because they're not on ESPN, but I wanted to see it, and they following in CU's footsteps. They linked up with all the Smoke Podcasts who's out there in California. They made a whole event out of it, just like the Black and Gold Day. Everybody's doing something different for their Black and Gold Day if their program is progressive. Everybody's talking about how Norfolk State is taking a page out of Colorado's playbook. Congratulations to Coach Michael Vick for getting his own Coach Prime segment detailing the journey of Michael Vick. Also produced by Coach Prime's business partner and Michael Strahan. So now Norfolk State is rising because their coach understands media, marketing, promotion, and engaging the audience, the next generation, and interested fans. So now Michael Vick got his own Coach Michael Vick show about a HBCU. And it's the first one that's been done. Why? It's always been out there. You think people would have been inspired after Coach Prime did it at Jackson State. Did you see anybody pick up the baton? No. But Coach Prime business partner going to run it back this time at Norfolk State. She was there at Jackson State too. So congratulations to Coach Michael Vick. Best wishes to Cash Cleveland. If your ceiling is $500,000, then take the money. If your ceiling is the NFL with millions, then stay down and stay true to yourself. Football is a business. Conduct yourself as a business. And these schools who are either in denial or in their feelings that players have power need to get over it or get out the way. But trying to defame a student should come with consequences. Every student has the right to enter the portal. So there you go. Yeah, I think Juanita, the way he went about it is more of the issue. Jordan Seaton was not happy. Why? Because think about it. Jordan Seaton brought Cash with him. Imagine you introducing somebody to your employer and they fake out on the job and they don't say they leaving and your employer find out through the wind. Oh, you looking for another job, but you weren't going to tell us and you just going to sit up here like it's another normal Tuesday, but it's not. That looks bad on you. And people say, who else would have given Cash Cleveland that opportunity? He's not a 4-star in the portal. He's a 3-star. The people in the portal currently from CU, I believe Isaiah Agustavi possibly, and he's still in the portal. They're 3 stars. We're losing 3 stars and we're gaining 4 stars. That's leveling up. It's the way people are going about it. I said when I was on mute, if you allow yourself to be poached, two things that they know about you, that you believe your ceiling is $500,000 and you might not start at your next school. And secondly, you don't have no integrity because you allowing yourself to do something behind your own coach's back who gave you an opportunity. 95% of students at CU get NIL. They're not starving over there. Have you seen what they eat? Tomahawk steaks? going to see you, even if you don't plan to go to the NFL and you get NIL, which means you're not leaving there with your pockets empty, and you get exposure playing on TV, and you get to have to store up some capital to go start your own business, because maybe football, NFL is not your goal. Maybe you want to be a GM. Look at all the exposure you're getting. It said that Caleb wants to be a GM. His father's a coach. They even said somebody's son on the team, the dad is the coach and he got poached or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if they're talking about CU or somewhere else, but they say even when your father's a coach on a team, you still can get up and leave. Chidozie's younger brother, who I didn't even know was on the team, came in as a walk-on, decided to enter the portal. It wasn't an issue. It just caused confusion because of their names. People thought Chidozie entered the portal, and that gave him the opportunity to use a microphone and say, my brother was here and he decided to move on. I said, I wondered if CU would offer Travis's brother. Some HBCUs have. CU hasn't. You know, we get attached to these players. If you don't get attached to NFL players, then don't get attached to college football players, because football at the college level is a business for everybody, including the players. And having 1,000 players in the portal confirms that. So it said that Isaiah Augustave went to Virginia, but he's still listed as in the portal. But maybe they have to do it that way. Maybe they have to do it that way because Coach Prime called it out that he was poached. When Coach Prime said, we let you have one and I didn't say nothing, that's who he was talking about. $500,000 for Isaiah Augustave. People say he have a kid. For him, maybe that was a blessing. Maybe his ceiling is not the NFL. And if it's not, then maybe take the $500,000. But make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation where you believe one thing and the reality is something else. I believe I'm a better player than I am because they're offering me $500,000. And because I could use this money and I take it and I go to this school, understand that doesn't mean that you're going to start. And it might not even be about you. It might be about depleting Coach Prime's second tier players so that when the first ones get injured, he don't have a depth chart to return to. I noticed they're not taking the 5 stars. They're not coming at the 5 stars. They're not. Maybe because they know they're locked in, or maybe because there's a different goal. If Travis is hurt and the second player was poached by another school, all we have is 3 and 4 on the depth chart. That's called strategy. That means it's not about the player. It's about depleting CU's roster. But CU keeps leveling up and getting players like Sincere Brown out the portal when players like Adrian Walker defect to Tennessee. To UNC. And that's cool because I didn't even know who the guy was. He's a 3-star. Sincere came in as a 4. So we leveling up. It might look ugly. The optics might be bad. But when you sit down and you realize what's going on, you listen to several sides of the story and you formulate your own opinion like I did. I watched several people talk about the Cash situation and did my own research and formulated my own opinion. And when I saw Coach Prime call Cash out in that meeting and I looked and I didn't see Cash at practice, I knew what had happened. Just like Dan Lanning told Tennessee what was going on, Coach Prime knew what was going on too, and he didn't need Dan Lanning to tell him. So Tennessee didn't need Dan Lanning to tell them that Nico's dad, his representative, was doing what Cash Cleveland has hired someone to do. Look for a better opportunity. They call it shopping around. These students are seeking better opportunities, a better offense, or a more chance to start, or a scholarship. Because some people say Cash looking for a scholarship because he didn't get one at CU because somebody else did. Okay, you have that right. But I would say something to somebody, especially a person like Coach Prime, they gave you that opportunity when nobody else did after Jordan Seaton brought you to CU, because that looks disloyal. And that's not handling business correctly. You can exit a situation and leave with the bridges still intact. You don't have to burn your bridges. And young people, y'all got to understand, the bridge you burn, you might need to walk back across one day. Don't do it. It's not necessary. We had one player that went to Oregon State. His mom, I think she wrote a beautiful letter. Her son wrote a beautiful letter and she liked it. And they were like, thank you, Coach Prime. This young man left CU, I think it went to Oregon, with the bridges intact. He ran 1,000 yards last year. Let's say he want to come back because CU's running game is picking up steam. Guess what? He probably can do that because he didn't burn his bridges. But there are people out here leaving after they being poached and sneaking out the door and, maybe in their feelings and, doing things behind coach's back when they could have easily went to him and say, at this moment in time, I need to look for other opportunities, coach, but I really appreciate the one you gave me. You don't have to burn your bridges. Say thank you on the way out and leave the bridge intact so you can walk back across it. I would love to see the guy at OSU come back. It's not lost on me. We just lost the player to OSU. It wasn't lost on me that the player we lost to OSU last year happened after the OSU game. Because when they're playing us, they peeping our folks. And that's cool because it opens the door for us to get a 4-star. Even if we lose a 4-star, we can still get another 4-star. So, no, Jordan Seaton was not happy. And I understand because he's looking at it as a brotherhood. Cash decided at some point to start looking at it as a business. And maybe he didn't tell Jordan Seaton either, and that's wrong. That's wrong. Y'all supposed to be friends. Forget the business with the school. What about the guy that brought you with him? They do say Trevor Woods is still in the portal. And I don't know why. I know he was a safety. They moved him to linebacker, and then he wanted to play safety. So I think he hopped in the portal as a safety, So I thought CP really liked Cash. He couldn't give him a scholarship. I mean, honestly, one thing about it, I haven't seen Coach Prime just hand out these scholarships to people that didn't deserve it. We do all believe that Charlie Offerdahl, who was there before Coach Prime got there, who stayed down, 10 toes down, did the work. Coach Prime even said it. And so did the running back coach at the time, that when it comes to learning the offense and doing what you're supposed to do, that Charlie was the one that was actually doing it. See, we think because we like these players and so we see them laughing and we like them and they're good and we want them to do well, that they're doing what they're supposed to do on the field. No. Some of them ain't even doing what they're supposed to be doing in class. And Coach Prime called it out in that meeting. He said somebody else's name, so it wouldn't surprise me if we lose somebody else. The portal doesn't leave or close until the 25th. But there's some that he called out. They're not going to leave. They know they're wrong. And they're going to either stay 10 toes down in and get better, or they're going to stay and keep getting paid, and they'll just fizzle out after they hopefully graduate or NIL run out, whatever happens first. Personally, I don't care whether I'm going to the NFL or not. I'm going to try to get this bachelor's and this master's off of this dime right here that they paying for. And then do what use that money to pay for training to go to the league. But if it don't work out, I'm going to have a contingency plan. So, if Cash is leaving because somebody else got a scholarship and Cash didn't, and he decided to hire somebody to help him find one, I mean, we don't win at everything we do. Sometimes we lose, and it helps us build character. It's true. Because, sometimes you want something, right? And somebody's better than you. And maybe you have to go back and retool, re-examine, re-evaluate, or move on and find it somewhere else. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just he didn't say nothing, and his relationship with Jordan Seaton seemed to not be what Jordan Seaton thought it was. Hey, Gracie. Hey, Gracie. I think Coach Prime gives people a chance. Now, I know we wanted Jordan Seaton, but it seemed like Jordan Seaton made Cash Cleveland part of his deal. Just like I didn't know Chidozie's younger brother was there. And I just read an article that talked about how it's not uncommon for schools to offer the younger brother to get the older brother. That happens, the package deal. So that seems, maybe that's what happened with Chidozie. That's how we got Chidozie. We got his younger brother, or Chidozie came and then we brought his brother. Remember, we have a coach with 2 sons on the staff, on the team. So we got the new coach and both of his sons are on the team. So these deals are package deals. There are some players, not only are their siblings the deal, sometimes it's their girlfriend. well, I'll go to this school if you could get my girlfriend a scholarship. And it happens. It happens. Jordan and Cash both from IMG, right? And we said IMG would be a pipeline, right? From Colorado to from high school to Colorado because of the connection with their like one of their top recruiters or advisors or something like that. They had a relationship with Coach Prime, so hopefully that's still the case. Now, I know we got somebody named Atkins. Now that young man is catching people's eye. We recruited him. He's on scholarship. He's a dog. I said to myself, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe not this cycle, but after he plays his first year with us and we get right back here in 2026, if they try to get if people encourage him to leave. Because that's what's happening. It's like, man, see, you got some dogs. We don't seem to poach. We seem to get people out the portal. So, but I don't really know either. So I don't really know. Coach Prime gives them a chance, and then somebody, they just, because, here's the thing. And y'all got to remember something too. Think about Cormani. Cormani apparently was not doing what he was supposed to do, right? When he was here at CU. And at one point, when he was at Florida, he posted himself working out with a CU jersey on, which means he was starting to realize that he had it good here. And Coach Prime talked about that. He said, some of y'all going to leave and y'all going to be like, damn, I had it good there. Damn, Coach Prime was right. Or this coach was right. And he's right. That's what happens. But these people are young. And the problem is, if you're young and you got good people around you who are helping you to fulfill your dreams, then they got your back. But some of these people like Cormani at the time, they just wanted this kid to get paid so they could get paid. They just wanted this kid to get paid so they could have bragging rights. They didn't care what he was doing right or wrong. They just wanted to force Coach Prime to let him play. I remember distinctly like it was yesterday. It was sad. Even people saying he throwing Cormani, Coach Prime throwing Cormani under the bus. Oh, I read comments, you trying to control the boy, just let him play. As if Coach Prime has no right to have standards on his football team for his players. And that's what happens with these young men. They get around a lot of people like that who were around Cormani, and they go keep sliding down. And then where are they when Cormani has no scholarship and got to go find somewhere else to go? Laughing at him in the cut. And sometimes these people in your family, sometimes they're your mom, sometimes they're your dad. It's true, parents try to live vicariously through their athletic children. Keep pushing and pushing, and y'all don't know why they're pushing. Maybe I'm pushing my student to play tennis at the next level, even though my student hates it because I couldn't do it, or because I know how much Serena Williams make and I want my kids to get that so I can do it. If these kids have good guidance around them that are not trying to feed off of these students, then they end up in better situations. But when you have people in your ear telling you, oh, you need to leave Coach Prime, he gave that scholarship to another kid and not to you, and this, that, and the other, all the while, not reminding you, well, Coach Prime gave you a chance when nobody else would. And Jordan Seaton's your buddy. He brought you there with him, and then you got that starting gig that you prayed for. And I heard some people say, well, Cash Cleveland's just striking while the iron is hot. So why Nico couldn't strike while the iron was hot? Why is there a difference in how it's viewed? The point is, if Cash had the right to have somebody shop around for him, so did Nico. Because this is the business of college football, seeking opportunities. Maybe if you use the right language, it'll make sense to you. If people feel like, well, Cash's career was on an upswing, then he should go ahead and get somebody to help him find a scholarship, another school, or whatever. Okay, they might get him a scholarship. Is he going to start? Is he still expected to compete? Are they going to tell him you're going to come to this school and be the starting center? Probably not with a 3-star. Did you hear when Coach Prime called out his name in a meeting about people leaving, just say, and basically don't come use it? Right. Coach Prime said it. He said it. There are people coming to see you just to use us so somebody else could poach them. They're not interested in playing. And there are, if you have 1,000 kids in a portal, best believe it's 100 of them playing hopscotch. They just trying to get leapfrog. They just trying to get to the next level. They ain't even good. Coach Prime said some of y'all are delusional about your abilities. And I know it's true. You know why? Because Coach Pat Schumer said we are a long ways away. So between having delusional players who not doing the work, who think they're better than they are and not putting in the work, who know that they stars and not doing their school work, it ain't gonna be so easy to run it back like we think. And that's why Shador and Travis's jerseys are being retired. Travis was a 4.0 student and a freak athlete on the field, you know, a generational talent. So, and if I don't have no sound at this point, I don't know what to do because I should have sound. So, it's like the Wild Wild West. It is like the Wild Wild West. Yeah, it is like the Wild Wild West out here. So, you know, Maurice Claret, Ohio State, Marvin Bagley, Duke University, etc., were either benched games or reprimanded for selling their own likeness while on scholarship. Not like that anymore because of the NCAA ruling. What? What? I didn't know about that. Maurice Claret and Marvin Bagley Jr. Oh, okay. So they were selling their own likeness and got benched. Right. And people need to be real here. These schools don't want these kids making this money. They have no choice at this point. They were forced into it at this point because the students, former and current, pushed for this I guess this settlement to come. The NCAA to this moment is still fighting it, trying to make their lives a living hell. When y'all hear me say that, people are putting hurdles in your place. Okay, you may have won, but I'm gonna make it harder for you. I said it's the same thing for us in the NFL. His collusion case, the NFL was found guilty, but you see they keep putting hurdles and obstacles and pushing him around and not letting him get what he wants, and that's QB1 status and starting. Or they might let him start and then bench him, but they keep trying to make his life a living hell. The NCAA seems to be trying to make these students' lives a living hell by saying, you know what? Okay, fine. You can have NIL. But now I want all your NIL deals to go through some private professional services firm so they can look at it first. What the hell? That makes no sense. That's just a hurdle to make sure that NIL is not what it is right now. The fact that the students have power. It's funny how the NCAA committee is supposed to be, the whole purpose of the NCAA is to advance college athletics and protect students. I don't see no protection. Everything I see is to try to put their foot on these students' neck so they don't do exactly what's happening right now. Make choices about where they play, when they play, who they play for, and how much they play for. So, you know, that's what it is. So I have no problem with it. It's how you go about it. If you have familial connections and relationships with players, you know, don't turn your back on everybody because either you didn't get a scholarship or somebody get more snaps than you. And certainly don't hop in the portal with nowhere to go. Because our good Trevor Woods, who we all like, they said it's still in the portal. Coach Prime said it, don't hop in the portal unless you have somewhere to go. How would you have somewhere to go? First, somebody would have to come to you and talk to you. If you ain't in the portal, can they do that? Not without it being tampering. So that's the game that's being played. If you hop in the portal, I have $500,000 for you. To do what? Did y'all sign a contract? What does it say? Does it say you're gonna start? Does it say you get this money if you do something, then I'm gonna give it to you? You see what I'm saying? Because right now, Isaiah Aguastave is still in the portal. Maybe next week it'll say he went to Virginia. But why play around? Because Adrian Walker, it says that he's committed to UNC. So it's something going on there. And it could be because the poaching was discussed even before Coach Prime talked about it on camera, that's what's taking place. And the fact that UVA tried to run it back with Carter Stoudemire is insane to me. They have no shame. They have no fear of consequences from the NCAA for poaching multiple students from the university, from CU. That's crazy. Most people would fear their program being banned for the next 10 years because before NIL, any minor infraction, like SMU lost its program. they had what they called like a death sentence. They couldn't play football for a decade or two. And it was because SMU, they got money over there. The boosters have money. They were buying students Ferraris and Corvettes. And the NCAA found out they had been paying students, not just black students, all kinds of students. And the NCAA put down the hammer and they didn't have a football team. They lost all their scholarships. And how you going to have a football team with absolutely no scholarships? That means all your students are going to have to be paid students who pay to play football, and you might not get the best talent. So they lost their football program for a decade or two, a long time. And Bucky went there. I don't know if y'all know, but Bucky went to SMU. That's a rich kid school. And those boosters flexed that money. But you really think SMU was the only one? No. And all they had to do way back then was, since it was happening so much, was pay the players. But the NCAA fought it then, and they still fighting it now, tooth and nail. They don't want the students to have choices. It's okay for the programs to rake in triple-digit millions. It's okay for the NCAA and the conferences to rake in millions, in the triple digits. All the money that the schools make from these bowl games, they don't keep it. The only schools get to keep their money are independent schools like Notre Dame. The money Colorado got for playing in the Alamo Bowl went to the Big 12 conference and divided up among 16 schools, or however many schools are in the conference. So if you was dead last in the conference, you still got money. You got the same money as the number one school. So what is the incentive here? So that's what it is. But, you know, I think at this moment, it's starting to resonate with a lot of people that football is a business for students. NIL has been around since 2021. NIL been out since 2021, and we are just not getting to the point where football is a business for students, and they've had the elbow and push their weight. It's not like they just said, okay, there are a lot of schools out there that don't protest when students leave. But the fact that Nico's having statements put out about him for doing what 999 other students have hopped in the portal, that means these students are still having to elbow their way to get what they're supposed to have. The freedom to make choices about where they play football. Even if they don't get a scholarship offered, I still can put myself in the portal and see what happens. I can hire an NIL agent to seek opportunities, not shop me around. If you say it with a negative context, as if it's wrong, then that's when people get in their feelings. Oh, he doing something he's not supposed to do. But then Cash Cleveland comes along and do it. Oh, he's striking while the eye. Really? So that's why you got to call people on it and keep it even and keep it fair. Every student has the right for their representatives, whether it's their parents or a hired representative, to seek opportunities. And for Dan Lanning, supposedly, allegedly, to go run and tell Tennessee, I asked y'all yesterday, you think he would have run and told Coach Prime? Somebody shopping around for Cash Cleveland. No. Hell, he might end up at Oregon. Because if he end up at UT or Tennessee or anywhere where their colors are burnt orange, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. I don't like that these agents are getting 20% and the athletes have to pay taxes on all the money. I mean, you don't have to have an agent. You don't have to have an agent. Nico's father is his agent. He was doing what he was supposed to do. Now, would a paid agent meet the same resistance as Nico's father if he already don't have connections? Yes. So even though you're paying 20%, they still got to work their way in that network. And y'all know that good old network, what I'm talking about. Nico's father was seen as an outsider, even though he was Nico's representative. Y'all really think Nico's father is the only father who's representing his college athlete son? No. Some of them, it's their mothers because they know how. They have the ability to make the connection with various universities and start a conversation, engage it, keep it going, and see what's out there. Nico had a fair market value of $3.1 million, so there is a system of fair market value in place. And if Tennessee didn't want to pay him $3.1 million, and we don't know whether they did or didn't, because we didn't see any details of the conversation We just know what Tennessee put out there. Then he was right to leave, whether he gets $4 million or $3 million. And UCLA seemingly has no issue with it. If he is at their spring game tonight, whether he's dressed out or not, they see him as a part of the UCLA Bruin family. And I saw a post that said, I'm a Bruin, and not from him, from UCLA. I keep telling people he can make money anywhere. And that's the truth. You can make money anywhere. You don't have to get all of your money from an NIL collective. If you good at what you do, or if they like you, like Jimmy Horn Jr., you're going to get that money. You're going to get that phone call to endorse their products. Travis gets these phone calls, and Jimmy Horn Jr. gets these phone calls. Out of anybody at CU, it's those two. Shador does too, but Jimmy Horn Jr. and Travis for sure. Cash Cleveland is no big loss. People got caught up with his personality. Right. And when you are conducting business, you need your personality. So you want to make sure you leave with your reputation intact. That's what I say. I don't care if you leave, but handle business correctly so you don't burn bridges. So yeah, we got caught up with his personality. I liked him. When I did the 2025 schedule, I had that picture where he had the crosses under his eyes. Does his behavior match that? Not necessarily. But should the school try to defame him? No. We just learn to stop getting emotionally attached. When we are in the off season, when we are in the spring, I don't care who is on that team until they take the first snap. That's when I care. Who gonna dress out for the first game? Who on the roster for the first game? Just like the NFL. There's a reason why the NFL has a final 53-man roster, and you're not supposed to get caught up because everything else is conditional until that 53-man roster comes out. When Xavier Weaver went to the Cardinals, what did we want to know? Did he make the 53-man roster? So I want to know who makes Colorado's, I don't know how many roster number it is. It could be 80. Hell, I don't know. All I care about is who made that final roster before the first game. And that's what we should all care about going forward, because this is a business, just like it is in the NFL. It's volatile, it's up and down. We don't know who coming and going and who stays. And that's perfectly fine, because college football is a business for college football players. And I think everybody is finally starting to get it. Fans included. Don't get emotionally attached. My favorite players are going to the league, but I found some new favorite players. But if I look up and, they say DJ McKinney got poached, I'll be like, damn, I like him. I wanted to see him play, but maybe he had to do what was best for him. That's all you could do. But being poached comes with some things. They say you don't have no integrity either, and your ceiling is what they offered you. And if you don't have it in writing that you're going over there to start and you lose a starting position, I think when it came to Dylan Edwards, we kept talking about that. That he left CU, but did he start at Kansas State? Did he do much better there? Then we had another player that ended up at Arizona State. He left CU, and there was some rumblings with his dad on Twitter. I don't even remember his name. That kid ended up being 4th or 5th on the depth chart. Sometimes these schools want to pay you to leave CU, or they'll allow you to leave CU for free and come be 4th and 5th on that depth chart because you're not at CU. This is a game called keep away. And these students need to understand that. The representatives too. I said that about Nico's dad. He thought Tennessee was his friend because they came into his house when Nico was in high school and offered Nico $8 million. He didn't understand he was taking on friendly fire. He didn't understand the rest of the coaches were out talking about what he was doing, which he was right to do, but making it seem like he was wrong, and they were using that against his son. When you want to renegotiate what you already signed for, you're going to need a lawyer. Because otherwise, they're going to stonewall you and they're going to ruin your son's reputation. That's a lesson for Nico's father. You could be his representative, but they're not your friends. This is business. So, yeah, it's no big loss. If he leaving as a 3, we can possibly get a 4. Oh, we already have another 4. Somebody did get a scholarship, so they must be better. And I think it's the new guy, Xavier Hill. Y'all remember hearing the name Xavier Hill was coming in for CU. That's who I think got the scholarship. He came from Memphis. He's huge. And some people say they thought Cash Cleveland was a little small to be a center. It's possible. But he was a freshman, so he would have had time to develop at CU. I remember seeing a cute video of him having 3 plates of food. He said, I'm just trying to put on weight because he needed to be bigger. But now that they have somebody who can plug in at center with the size and the weight and the skill set, then that means that Cash got to reevaluate. And that's cool if that's what you want to do. But don't play like it's a normal Tuesday. If you know that you're looking to leave, just go to coach and say, thank you for the opportunity, but I need to seek other opportunities. So that's it. That is a Lambo, so 3 swimming pools, 2 free years of visits to Cold Stone Creamery, all for the first pick. Okay, so that clearly concludes our conversation about college football.